History repeats itself, first as tragedy, second as farce. Reason has always existed, but not always in a reasonable form. Democracy is the road to socialism. Capital is dead labor, which vampire-like lives only by sucking living labor, and lives the more labor it sucks. The rich will do anything for the poor, but get off their backs. If anything is certain, it is that I myself am not a Marxist. The first requisite for the happiness of the people is the abolition of religion. Religion is the opium of the masses. In bourgeois society, capital is independent and has individuality, while the living person is dependent and has no individuality. Landlords, like all other men, love to reap where they never sowed. The writer must earn money in order to be able to live and to write, but he must by no means live and write for the purpose of making money. For the bureaucrat, the world is a mere object to be manipulated by him. The country that is more developed industrially only shows to the less developed the image of its own future. There is a spectre haunting Europe, the spectre of communism. The only antidote to mental suffering is physical pain. The ruling ideas of each age have ever been the ideas of its ruling class. Necessity is blind until it becomes conscious. Freedom is the consciousness of necessity. Religion is the sigh of the oppressed creature, the heart of a heartless world, and the soul of soulless conditions. It is the opium of the people. Nothing can have value without being an object of utility. Art is always and everywhere the secret confession, and at the same time the immortal movement of its time. Revolutions are the locomotives of history. Capital is money, capital is commodities. By virtue of it being value, it has acquired the occult ability to add value to itself. It brings forth living offspring, or at the least lays golden eggs. Experience praises the most happy, the one who made the most people happy. Religion is the impotence of the human mind to deal with occurrences it cannot understand. Capital is reckless of the health or length of life of the laborer, unless under compulsion from society. Natural science will in time incorporate into itself the science of man, just as the science of man will incorporate into itself natural science. There will be one science. It is absolutely impossible to transcend the laws of nature. What can change in historically different circumstances is only the form in which these laws expose themselves. The ideas of the ruling class are in every epoch the ruling ideas. The class which is the ruling material force of society is at the same time its ruling intellectual force. A commodity appears at first sight an extremely obvious trivial thing, but its analysis brings out that it is a very strange thing, abounding in metaphysical subtleties and theological niceties. The English have all the materia, requisites for the revolution. What they lack is the spirit of generalization and revolutionary ardor. Without doubt, machinery has greatly increased the number of well-to-do idlers. Greek philosophy seems to have met with something with which a good tragedy is not supposed to meet, namely a dull ending. On a level plain, simple mounds look like hills, and the insipid flatness of our present bourgeoisie is to be measured by the altitude of its great intellects. The writer may very well serve a movement of history as its mouthpiece, but he cannot of course create it. Men's ideas are the most direct emanations of their material state. It is not history which uses men as a means of achieving, as if it were an individual person, its own ends. History is nothing but the activity of men in pursuit of their ends. Machines were, it may be said, the weapon employed by the capitalists to quell the revolt of specialized labor. History does nothing. It does not possess immense riches. It does not fight battles. It is men, real living, who do all this. The history of all previous societies has been the history of class struggles. The human being is in the most literal sense a political animal, not merely a gregarious animal, but an animal which can individuate itself only in the midst of society. Society does not consist of individuals, but expresses the sum of interrelations, the relations within which these individuals stand. Medicine heals doubts as well as diseases. The theory of communism may be summed up in one sentence: abolish all private property. The production of too many useful things results in too many useless people. From each according to his abilities, to each according to his needs. To be radical is to grasp things by the root. The philosophers have only interpreted the world in various ways. The point, however, is to change it. Go on, get out. Last words are for fools who haven't said enough.